And so we're all against each other trying to get our workers into jobs that'll come out during the game. So as a worker placement game, we all have 3 workers that we're going to be placing each round. You cannot add more workers. We'll all have 3 every round. We'll play a standard game of 8 rounds rather than the long game or the short game. So it'll go for 8 rounds. It's a fairly straightforward game. This is intended to be gateway, so obviously hardcore gamers, this really isn't like a difficult game for them.
Drinking expect.
Well, that could be, yes. So in the game, the basics on how you get money. Money is the victory points in the game. There's a money track, which is your cash, and you have your reputation, which are your thumbs. Thumbs affect one aspect of the game, but they're not victory points. It's just cash and your victory points. So in the game,
thumbs up.
The ultimate goal is to take workers like Dolores Mova, take workers who have certain skills. For example,
night working skills.
Dolores has a life skill and an unknown skill. This is so she has
like a salt shaker.
She has a flexibility where
so you just
for
filled
example,
in that poll, didn't you?
Jacques Mondieu, he's the out-of-work mime. He has 2 life skills. So what your goal is to take a worker, which you have to have a worker to fill a job, and then there's going to be a bunch of different jobs in the game that have different skill requirements. And depending on the number of skills that they have, they'll be worth a certain amount of cash and a certain amount of reputation. So if you can get your worker upgrade their skills, you can fulfill the job requirement.
All right.
We paused because Lester is taking a selfie.
So there'll be a Eufy?
Yeah, be a Eufy.
Take a Eufy.
There's your next game.
Oh
my God.
Take a Eufy.
It sounds like something awful that a girl does.
I was really wishing your wife was sitting here right now.
I'm more fun.
I'll snap one of the board.
What? He's not jealous.
No, I said not a chance. He said he was more fun, and I said not a chance.
Duh. Okay. So
This is why we need
to introduce her to Gene.
to find jobs
Yes,
for our workers.
So your workers, you have to get them jobs. But as you can see, for example,
Is this for sale tonight?
I have one copy.
How much?
I'll buy it for second auction.
So, for example, see someone who wants to be a professional mourner and wants to get this job, which does pay 6 cash and 2 reputation. But in order to get it, it requires 2 labor skills, 1 tech skill, and 2 life skills. So obviously these 2 cannot fulfill it yet. So there are 2 different ways to get extra skills. One of them is to send your workers out to one of the 4 places to get the skills. There's 4 different skill types. So you can send out to get the labor skills at the trade school, you get the tech skills at the Hackers Club, you get the clerical skills at the college, or you get the life skills at the rec center. So if you go there, pretty simply you just get a queue. That's one way to start getting the skills you need. The other way is there are cards in the game that give you skills. They're actually skill cards. Green, or there's some double skills that'll actually have 2 different skills on it. So if you grab a skill and it puts in front of you, everyone will know what you have, and it might dictate kind of what job you're going for. But if you have the card, obviously it's hidden, and you might surprise people by having a skill for your worker they don't have. That's really the gist of the core part of the game is get a worker, get skills, and go fill a job. You can only place 1 worker per job, so if you have 3 workers, you can't add their skills together to get a job. You can only have 1 job per 1 worker per job. And if you don't have any workers, you cannot fill jobs, in which case you have to try to get workers. So there's a fair number of workers in the deck. There's some other aspects of the game you need to know. As I mentioned, you got your skill cards, and you have your worker cards. You also have business cards, or management cards. This is a deck of business cards. So the management cards are little cards you can play that just, you read the instructions and they do something. And to play a management card, you have to send your meeple out to the career consultant. So some of them seem pretty powerful, but you're using one of your 3 actions, and in 8 rounds, you're using 1 out of 24 actions to play a card. So it's a pretty big thing to actually do it. But it's something you can do, and just read the effect on the card. So that's the other type of card card in the game. And then finally, one more type, because it's the expansion, there are something called buildings. So buildings are, just like all of these are buildings here, but because we're a larger game, you can get a building, you play it out in front of you or on the table, and you own this building from now on. You have to pay one victory point, $1 rent to keep the building in play, but anytime someone places a meeple there to take the action, the owner gets a benefit as well. And you just read the benefit and it says what it is. But at the beginning of every round, you got to pay your $1 in order to keep it going. Otherwise, you get discounted.
And this is in production or prototype?
This is done. This is I just got the copies in from China this weekend for Gen Con, and then they'll be shipping out, probably hitting the stores in October.
Doug, we have any solicitation now. You can put it in your war box.
So this is a gateway game, but it's still a lot of fun. It's comedic. We kind of go for a lighter bend to it. The way the specific game works, so that's the kind of the goals, is you're going to be, first of all, determining player order. How player order goes